Just watch 10 of his videos and see if you don't find that in at least 5 of them. He goes on and on and on about some idea and then say, but I don't think, maybe it's not possibly even really like that. But, on the other hand, I don't watch for it. On the other hand, you could say, look, it's not like that at all. The truth is, this is a bunch of ridiculous vanity machine where people are engrossed in an unending parade of self-absorbed and congratulatory ideas. What the hell? People are just absorbed with themselves on YouTube? I mean, you can name your own damn channel. People aren't engaging ideas in a substantive way. They are wearing ideas as if they're fashions. Cliches are no longer things you recognize. Cliches are not to be recognized. Things are just, people get to choose what they want. You don't call it a cliche, you just call it their choice. Cliches are no longer things you recognize. They're just the beliefs that people have. Okay. Now, if we understand that sentence to mean, if we understand what he said here, that people just take any cliched idea and say, I believe this, then they get to take that home with them and none of us can question that because that's just their view. Professoranton is like the singing monument to cliches. He cannot get up in the morning and put his pants on without 25 cliches falling out of his mouth. This has been proven in scientific analysis. Alright, people have, it's like they're walking through a buffet and they're scooping up those things they want to be seen eating, whether they even know what it is or what went into it, the history of it, any of it, what its ultimate nutritional content will be on their body. I'll save the last bit. Can I remember to save the last bit? Because I have to stop there, because the last bit is, you already know what's coming, even though it'll surprise you. So people are just saying, I'll choose this and this and this because they want to be seen eating this and this and this, and they don't know the history of it or what went into it. Now, Professoranton posts videos that says things like, nothing exists. And what he means by that is nothing, as in, he's reversing the old meaning, the meaning that we all use of nothing. Nothing means that there isn't anything there. And he means nothing as in a thing that we call nothing. Right. If you're fascinated by that, then get out of here and go watch his channel. He has just taken that as one of the views out of history. Like he's taken some sausage pizza or raw oyster clam things out of the buffet or whatever comes raw, and you get a few things on your plate and you show everybody, yeah, I've got the clams, how's your pizza, the clams are good. You just want to be seen eating it. That's exactly how he treats ideas. He doesn't understand them. He doesn't know the history of them. Tell him, which I'm going to attempt to do. In fact, let me put the first sentence right here. You are an incarnation of Kant, or a reincarnation of Immanuel Kant. Tell him that he's Kantian, and he may do like Randy Heltzerman and have a good damn long laugh out of it. Randy Heltzerman did a video where he laughed and laughed and said, thank you for telling me. I think it's called Mr. Cropper's Worst Nightmare. I'm sure it is, in fact. Mr. Cropper's Worst Nightmare. You can see a Kantian responding to me telling him he's a Kantian. Now we can go on to the last bit of this paragraph, which I said, you know it's coming, but it will surprise you. So the sentence just before that was, in the history of any of it, what's the ultimate nutritional content will be on their body. But then, maybe it's not like that at all. What? What? You didn't see that coming? Yes. No, you didn't. You couldn't predict it. It's ridiculous at any stage. But you're not surprised to hear it from this clown. Look up this guy called Beckers if you want to know more about where Professoranton gets his delusional equivocations from, and whose video response was this, and how people were misunderstanding. All of that is made possible because of a kind of loneliness and anonymity that perhaps is in the culture. Now I apologize if you thought we were going to come to a thought right there. But usually that is how the paragraphs end. That is how what we can call a paragraph within incipient verbal diarrhea ends, is just like a going up and up and up to a crescendo, and you're supposed to reach a certain height, and then there's a part right here that bleeps and says erase everything you've just done. What? We thought we were going somewhere with that. Loneliness and anonymity that perhaps is in the culture. Maybe. What are you saying then? What's your other statement about that? You'd think you get back to that, but good luck. Let's go to the next disaster paragraph. It's hard to get at exactly what it is that is YouTube. Well, I'll pause for a drink, ladies and gentlemen, while you ask yourself, what is YouTube? Now, if you said that it's an online free video response culture, or something even remotely, I think that's pretty essential, but it's just, you said people talking to people online, or whatever you said, a method of communication. Anything that's obvious and true, forget it. Put that out of you, because that's the first thing you have to do when you're listening to Professor Anton. There's a video where he says, what is a calendar? And the first thing you have to do is say a calendar is a list of the days in the year that allows you to keep track of time. That's not going to be the answer or related to the answer. So, the first thing you have to do is take any reasonable thing that you, ladies and gentlemen, came up with YouTube. Put it on the shelf, forget it, put it out of the way, because that's not going to be what he talks about. Continuing, there certainly is more personality. If speech is more of a who than a what. Now, I wish we could continue with this thought, but he breaks off hard right there. If speech is more of a who than a what. Wow. You think about that if you want. I can't come up with anything. What the hell is that? See, I mean, continuing the quote, I think there are different ways to come at what speech and language are. Full stop. What are the different ways? Some say speech is a kind of what, right? And we can ask that question. We say, what is speech? Well, I thought we asked that at first, and some answered by saying it's a kind of what. Oh, he probably forgot that he said that. Wow, did he forget that he said that? We already asked what is speech, and their answer was that it's kind of what. We can say, how is speech? Oh, no, he's not continuing. That was the end of that thought. Well, what? A tangled garbage wreck. We ask what is speech, and so some people respond that speech is a kind of a what, and so we can ask this question, what is speech? Well, shit, I thought we started out asking that, and we didn't get anywhere. But he's going to go to the other option. We can say, how is speech? And then we can start to ask these sort of different questions about what is the nature of different kinds of speech. I didn't think we even got off the ground with our earlier questions. I didn't think we could go this far. Different kinds of speech, genre, different modes of speech action. Where did we even figure out what speech is? And he wants us to do speech actions already. Jesus, we'll sprain our ankle. All our collective ankle. One ankle for us. You know, as I'm sure you do, ladies and gentlemen, quote, you know, Wittgenstein was very good at this, right? Did you know that? I did. I've done what I can in the past to make fun of Wittgenstein, because I've heard people who talk. I've heard people, a guy in a philosophy class my freshman year, every single thing that was said in that philosophy class, there was a response that was absolute gibberish. It was worse than sophism about whether or not the sentence can even really be understood. And it was real insane. And he was a Wittgensteinian. He had Wittgenstein on his brain. So in a certain sense, you don't really need to read a lot of Wittgenstein. It is absolute insanity, and you can tell that by the people who advocate it, as you can tell from objectivists, because objectivists, by and large, make sense, and they, by and large, point out idiots. But we're off on a tangent. Let's get back to this nonsense. When we look at words in the dictionary,